Please mount that like button if you would be so kind. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We stream on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so a little bit later because it's my weekend too. If you are not subscribed to the channel, I hope you will subscribe today and join me for future streams. And make sure you're subscribed to my Substack, karlyn.substack.com. The link is in the description below. Let's shift gears. And honestly, it's actually kind of funny to be talking about this because Heron, in her presentation at the Socialist Conference, actually mentioned gays against groomers by name. Now, if Heron had read my reporting on gays against groomers, she would know. They. I really do try to do the pronoun thing. I really do. I just, it is what it is. If Heron had read my reporting on gays against groomers, they would know that gays against groomers is basically crumbling from the inside due to completely inept leadership. And last week, 2 more leaders in gays against groomers left. Let's read. I'm trained as an industrial organizational psychologist. I completed a dissertation about workplace bullying. I'm very good at identifying when something is going wrong in an organization. We have a limited amount of resources in the anti-woke space, and I don't like seeing them wasted. That's why when I've seen warning signs come out of organizations in the space, I've said something. I was the very first person to call out the CEO of FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism, back in 2021 when it was not popular to do so. A few weeks ago, he was finally removed from his position after years of toxic behavior. And I happen to know, P.S., that my reporting on FAIR from 2 years ago was used to get him out of that position, which is absolutely, it should have been done 2 years ago, but better late than never, I suppose. But I absolutely know for a fact they used my reporting to get him out. 1 month ago, I did a series of 4 articles about gays against groomers. The first article contained some of the most shocking acts of leadership malfeasance I have ever seen. Gays Against Groomers fired one of their chapter leads based on a QAnon Pizzagate conspiracy. Gays Against Groomers doesn't like trans people. Gays Against Groomers fired one of their volunteers live on Twitter one night at 3 a.m. And you can go back and read the articles if you want the whole story. And I did videos on it as well. It is, I have seen a lot of absurd nonsense in the workplace. I have never seen someone get fired over a QAnon Pizzagate conspiracy. It was crazy. I was only going to do one article about gays against groomers. However, upon publication of the first article, the organization's CEO, Jamie Mitchell, had such a meltdown and went on an unhinged smear campaign against me that I published a second article, a third article, and even a fourth article. In the first article, I said there were going to be more people leaving Gays Against Groomers. Jamie, of course, assured everyone on Twitter that I was a lunatic and I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I have an update. 2 more people have left. They left within 24 hours of each other. And they weren't just any people. They were 2 of the organization's leaders. Frank Rodriguez, the now former executive director of operations, and Mario Presents, the now former director of chapters. And you can see there, 2 people from the executive leadership team left within 24 hours of each other. And Gays Against Groomers still had them on their website when I wrote this last week. Why is this important? These 2 positions are responsible for Gays Against Groomers' entire ground game. Mario was responsible for coordinating all of their state chapters and affiliates. and Frank was essentially running operations. These are not small losses. These are people who are responsible for all of the activism that the organization is doing. If it's unclear to anyone, Jamie, the organization's most professional CEO, is not doing activism. She's doing merchandise. Because one of the only ways that Gays Against Groomers makes money is by selling merchandise. Jamie spends her time designing merchandise. That's what she does. She's not out coordinating with the chapters. She's not out running activism and doing activism strategy. She's designing merchandise. The two people who are coordinating the activism that the organization is doing both quit within 24 hours of each other. And from all internal accounts, I have heard from whistleblowers. They were the only two people in the organization that anyone could stand to work with. So who will run activism now? Below are their resignation announcements. Mario's announcement says he's leaving Gays Against Groomers because they won't allow straight people to work with the organization. Frank's announcement says he's leaving to run for office. And you know what? I don't disbelieve that Frank is running for office. However, Gays Against Groomers was a volunteer position. He didn't need to leave it to run for office. He really didn't. So why did he? We're now into double digits for volunteers who have left Gays Against Groomers within weeks. And the most recent ones have left within 24 hours of each other. And when they left, they both retweeted each other's statements. Do I think it's a coincidence? I don't, or excuse me, do you think it's a coincidence? Because I don't think it's a coincidence, but you can judge for yourself. We've got Mario Presents here saying, is with a heavy heart and forward outlook that I regretfully stepped away from Gays Against Groomers last night. I'm not going to go into specific details about my departure, other than I want to focus on my local community who has been suffering because of my national focus. And here's a little bit of Mario's letter where I'm not going to read it, but you're welcome to go to the Substack and read it yourself. Essentially, he says, Gays Against Groomers would not allow straight people to work with us. And I don't know why we're doing that. I don't know why we aren't working with everyone. Why aren't we welcoming anyone in who wants to work with us? Which I think is a really valid point. If you claim to care about ending grooming, and ending grooming is your highest priority, then why wouldn't you welcome anyone who wants to end grooming into the organization to help you do that? That just makes no sense at all. And then you can see here, Frank Rodriguez, my mission has become clear. I am now confident in where my abilities are best used. And as the voice that leads this movement, Frank thinks a lot of himself. I must accept that my words shake the world and inspire thousands to become activated. All right, I don't know about that, Frank, but Frank is leaving because he's running for office, and you can read his resignation letter there. So, that is the update from Gays Against Groomers. You can have whatever thoughts you want about the organization, but I think they're going to sell a whole bunch of merchandise to conservatives who think that the organization is doing something while not actually doing a whole heck of a lot. So I will continue to watch the situation. Now, a group that left Gays Against Groomers has actually formed a separate organization called Protectors of Innocence. They are actually working on activism. I'm interested to see what they do with their organization. They're building it up more slowly. I'm sure you're going to start to hear more about them. But, you know, I hate to say it, guys. I really do. But you always need to be skeptical about people starting these organizations because there are so few of them in the anti-woke space that are legitimate. That's just reality. It's one of the reasons I stay independent. I don't want to work with anyone. I want to be beholden to myself, and I want to be beholden to you. I want to be in a position to always tell you the truth about whatever side I'm talking about, and I want to be able to deliver you receipts even when it's inconvenient, and I want you to make up your own mind. So that's all I've got for the show today, guys. Again, please make sure you are subscribed to my Substack, karlyn.substack.com. If you want to help me out and fund the work I'm doing, you can become a paid subscriber for $5 a month, $50 a year. If you want to help me on another platform, you can head over to activelyunwoke.com/support. There are links in the description below. You can join me on Locals. You can join me on Patreon. You can send me a one-time gift, whatever works best for you. And I do appreciate all the support. I'm just really focusing on my Substack to try to build that up because I think it's just a wonderful platform that allows for more nuanced conversation. And I really appreciate it.